Doo doot, doo doot, doot doo doo doo, doo doot, doo doot, doot doo doo doo. Hello, how's it going? It's me, Ken. I'm here to tell you about my latest fan film project called Terminal 12. Um, it's I don't think fan film is the right word here. It's a fan expression. It's a multimedia fan expression is what this is turning out to be, because it is a world of insanity, and that is all thanks to one individual, really. I mean, many individuals helped create this insanity, but one individual in particular, and his name is Terry Gilliam. And I am so into his mindset since I started working on this. It's weird. It is absolutely weird. I'm just like operating on a whole another level of thought, because he put so much. He put so much, and everybody did put so much into this film. Um, and Terry Gilliam is a wonderful director. I've enjoyed all of his movies. He's everything he does is brilliant. Love Brazil, love 12 Monkeys. I'm looking really forward. I'm looking forward to going to see Zero Theorem when it comes out this summer, which I didn't even know he was working on until I started working on this and researching the 12 Monkeys. So I'm super stoked that that's coming out. Fisher King recently watched that again. Saw it when it was originally released. Absolutely brilliant in every single way. Put so much time, effort, and just he's really good at changing your perception. That's what his films do, is they change your perception. And that's one of the key things that I'm working on in this film, because you might not know this, I'm back in college again after many, many years, this time studying neurology and how we perceive things. So this fan editing thing is just an absolute wonderful little playground for that. And this film is just it's the awesome slide on the playground. You know what I mean? Back when I first went to college and was film school back in 1997. This film had recently come out, and I was we didn't get to play with like the cool equipment back in film school. We had to learn on what we called a deck-to-deck editing, which was super VHS editing bays, and we used an A/B roller and with a jogger, and like that was it. That's all we had in terms of editing. We could do some sound mixing on it, and that was it. So it was very, very limiting in our ability to do things. And 12 Monkeys was one of those films that I would make trailers for and all sorts of stuff, just because it's a wealthy film. There's so much going on in 12 Monkeys. Like every little point in the background is its own little story. Like everything in this film has a story, and apparently they're trying to expand the universe here 20 years later as a sci-fi show, which I think is really exciting. I found out about that while I was researching 12 Monkeys. So I'm looking forward to seeing the new sci-fi version of the 12 Monkeys universe. So that's pretty cool. So originally my intention was to do 12 Monkeys in the style of La Jetée, which is the short film. It's basically a slideshow. It's not even really a film, as Terry Gilliam himself has stated. That the script was based off of. It was an old 60s movie short, and it's basically kind of the same story as 12 Monkeys, but again, it's it's, you know, this is what happens is every time somebody gets their hands on a story, it gets expanded, and you know, the universe gets fleshed out and expanded more, and the story has more details to it. So originally the idea was just to take 12 monkeys, break it down into still images, and you know, um, and tell the story that way in a shorter format. And that's initially what I did, and it didn't work. It was just sucked the life blood out of the movie, um, and so I had to come up with something different. One of the things that I've been doing recently is a lot of Photoshop work, and seeing the different things that I could do with that. And so this kind of became a test bed to see what I could do between Photoshop and After Effects, and to add to the styles that I could present. And another film which, for some reason, I keep thinking Terry Gilliam is somehow involved in this movie, but I can't make the connection. I can't find where he came in and put his hands on it. But I know he did somehow in Scanner Darkly. I don't know if he inspired it or what. I don't know what his relationship with Scanner Darkly is, but there is one. And so Scanner Darkly is an excellent film. And I really like the art style in that. So I took a lot of things from that and started bringing it in, and that made a world of difference in just the tonality and emotional quality. Because with the motion picture, you know, you have these changes in expression. You know, if I just sit here, you know, with a blank expression on my face, there's something called it's not the real name of it. It has an actual name, but it's the Battleship Potemkin editing theory. Is that you have somebody who expresses no emotion, and then you show a scene of something happening, and then cut back to the person again showing no emotion, and the viewer, you know, takes their emotion and projects it into the character that isn't showing any emotion. So there's that kind of aspect to it. But in the 12 Monkeys film in particular, and acting, as I've done a lot of acting too, emotion doesn't come from stillness. You can't express emotion without motion. Emotion, you know. It's that change of expression from one muscle contraction to another, that we express our feelings out into the world. Is how we read people, and emotionally read people. You know, and people who are empathetic are just people who are very good at reading those subtle changes in our muscular structure. And so when doing the still images, a lot of that was lost. And so I had to start coming up with different art styles that would express the emotion. And so when say, like, if the character Cole, Bruce Willis's character, is feeling very repressed, and then I'll have these very, very dark undershadows, not shadows coming down onto him like he's being repressed, but you know, he's feeling kind of like emotionally he's feeling emotionally stifled. You know, so when Cole is feeling emotionally stifled, you know, we have these very dark undershadows with these very bright highlights on the edges, that just kind of says, like, you know, that, like, he's just it has this kind of like contracted, centered, like internal kind of feeling to it. And then, of course, if he's excited or angry or lashing out or whatever, I started bringing in these very, very like hard edges and these dark shading lines, very much like like a Dark Horse comic. Um, uh, and then, of course, there's times where it's kind of like he's kind of fuzzy, because there's a lot of times where he's fuzzy and disorientated, and so these have kind of this very like washed out kind of instead of blacks, we've got gray blacks and that sort of thing. There were some things in this film that just could not be done without motion. You have to have motion for some of these scenes because there's so much going on in the backgrounds of these shots. It's hard to tell what is the focus, and it's the hamster effect. It's like every little square inch of film is utilized, and the whole film actually has, as I was editing it, I noticed it has a very kind of washed out, low contrast to it, and I think that has to do with the fact that Terry, or the director of photography, or whoever it was who was in charge of that, they wanted to make sure that we got all these details in the background. Like, they spent all this time building these Dark Crystal-esque sets with all these little minute details in it, and they wanted to have all these in the shots. And I'm sure originally, I bet you the original cut was probably 4 hours with like these little like close-ups of all this different stuff going on in the background, so I needed to kind of like, I needed to fight that, and so I did a kind of, some of the scenes will have kind of a rotoscopic effect to them, which was very, very difficult, just because of the colors and the lighting and all the things, all the just the crap in the background, which there's nothing wrong with that. Life is full of crap in the background, but for the sake of brevity, I needed to cut a lot of that out and discern from that. So yeah. Originally, I intended this film to be 30 minutes or less, like La Jetée, because basically La Jetée is about 28 minutes. There's no way that's going to happen. It's not even remotely possible. 12 Monkeys is over 2 hours long, 2 hours and 9 minutes to be exact, and so I'm gonna try to get as close to 30 as possible. But I just finished up my ugly cut, and the ugly cut is predicting that the film's going to be about 35 minutes, including all the credits, which I think is not bad. I mean, that's 25% the size of the original film, and I'm going to try to maintain as much of the original story as possible. One of the differences that we're going to see story-wise in Terminal 12, the story is going to focus primarily on James Cole, Bruce Willis's character. The 12 Monkeys was kind of tangential. Is that a word? 12 Monkeys was kind of tangential in the fact that it would go off and follow Brad Pitt, it would go off and follow Madeline Stowe, and all these other characters, and the original 12 Monkeys, while I would say definitely Cole is the main character, there's essentially this kind of love triangle thing going on with Brad Pitt and Madeline Stowe and Bruce Willis, and yeah, I know Bruce Willis and Brad Pitt aren't lovers, but it's the buddy. It's the buddy protagonist, love interest. It's a triangle, between those three characters. The story is between those three, and I wanted to kind of, break that back. I didn't want to take those characters out entirely because they really are essential, especially Madeline Stowe, who is way underrated in this film. She is super essential, and the love story of Bruce Willis and Madeline Stowe, I think is really important. It's what La Jetée really was. La Jetée, although being a time travel movie, was very much it was a love story. That's what La Jetée was, and so I wanted to make sure that I kept some of that in Terminal 12, and hopefully that'll come across. So yes, 12 Monkeys. So check out Terminal 12 when it comes out, and it should be cool. All right, talk to you later.